So hey guys, I'm Ashut Garg and I'm the app lead at Randomize. I would like to welcome you all to the event and let's continue with the journey. Today I'm hoping that to tell you enough so that you can say hello to the world of app development. So just a bit about myself, like when did I start in AMP Dev? It's around 4 years ago. I had recently got my first smartphone, which was the Note at that time, and I thought to myself like uh, what are these things like उससे पहले I had a phone which with only buttons and a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter screen, nothing, only text messages and calls. So when I got a smartphone I saw that, oh my god, what am I seeing? You can play games, you can do anything that you want. Basically you can open Google on your phone, which is only possible on big laptops or big desktops at that time. So that was something. I made a collection of apps in my phone. I had 50, hundreds of applications. I completed my phone storage, bought a memory card, completed its storage also, just downloaded apps. And then I learned about that you can make apps also. We just saw that, we just saw Arijit Bhaiya show his resonance, which is basically he works in AI ML. So his domain is not app development. So to implement something like the awesome model, ML model that he made, to implement something and to make it available to all of the users all around the world, you need app development, web development, or something to pass this project to everyone. So today, so let's get started with the presentation. Um, yeah. So app development. Who uses it? Very simple. Everyone. Everyone around us has a phone. Everyone uses apps. When will it become outdated? Never. Okay, that was a bit smug of me, but I'll take it. Scope of app development. बहुत. सही में बहुत. Just one word for it, and I'll tell you why. बहुत. Benefits of app development. This is going to be an interesting one. Sorry. Benefits of app development. पैसा. What do you need for app development? Hard work, consistency, determination. Now you might say that ये तो boring सी वही advice होगी, but you cannot become a really good app development until you have these qualities. Really? Nah. Who am I kidding? You just need. You might be asking, then what do you actually need? Okay, this is going to be the bitter truth, but the reality is you're going to need zero social life, and trust me, that's what it is. What? You must be like, what? App development तो अभी से सबसे बेकार domain है? No, I'm just kidding. Enough kidding now. You just need the desire to learn something new and be very consistent about it. Okay, let's just talk about apps for a minute. You have millions of apps from like anything, games, utilities, or functional for payments, everything. And they are very diverse in terms of their looks, personality, purpose, everything. For example, Paytm is entirely different from, let's say, Instagram, and are both very important for us students. वो बात अलग है कि एक पर पैसे उड़ते हैं और दूसरे पर वही पैसे उड़ते हुए हम फोटो डालते हैं, but you get my point. So one is for payments and everything related to payments, and one is for photographs, for sharing, for texting, and for socializing. So yeah, there's a difference. But the basic structure of the app is similar. Like when you think about how we are going to solve a problem, every app is just another way of solving a problem. Paytm was a problem. The problem statement for Paytm is I want to pay for my services using a smartphone. Instagram ka problem statement is I want to share something with my friends in 1 second. So every app is a problem, and this problem ko will take it as a iceberg. So the tip of the iceberg is what we see, and that is comprised of two things: UI and UX. What is UI? User interface. You might know what is user interface. Is basically how the app looks. So we see that WhatsApp the color scheme. It involves color schemes, typography. So the fonts that you use, the logos, the icons, everything. So WhatsApp uses the green theme. Facebook ka blue is blue is famous. पेटीएम का लाइट ब्लू इज फेमस, स्नैपचैट ने येलो पे अपना पकड़ बनाई हुई है. So the color schemes, the logos, everything, and the UX is how the user experience, how the user feels while using the app, the flow, the when you're solving a problem, how many steps it takes to solve the problem. अगर हम जोमेटो पे जाएं और उधर हमको 10 टाइप की रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी पड़े just to get the food, what good is it? We want food as quickly as possible. So उसमें तुम food select करो, पहली स्क्रीन से ही बर्गर पिज्जा सब कुछ दिखाने लग जाते हैं, वहीं से ही ऐड टू कार्ट डालेंगे, वहीं से ही क्लिक ऑन पेमेंट, पेमेंट में दिल गिव ऑल ऑफ द ऑप्शंस के बस जब पैसा दे दो हमको, वी जस्ट केयर अबाउट इट, ऑर्डर ले लो हमारे से, दे जस्ट नीड द फोन नंबर. और उसके अलावा उनका रजिस्ट्रेशन इतना ईजी है, लाइक द ऑथेंटिकेशन. Next, the main thing that the developer needs to do is the backend design. So backend and all of the functionality. What is backend? How the data, user ka data, how it will be stored, retrieved, updated, deleted, like all of the CRUD functionalities. And then उन दोनों को connect करके how the data will be used to make the app functional and usable. So this is the main structure of the app, which I have explained through this diagram. Now, how we approach app development में approach क्या रहती है हमारी? First, we design the front end. The front end is designed using mockups. You can use Figma for it or any kind of mockup. There are a lot of services. I will send the link in the WhatsApp group, or you can ask me. I'll tell in the end. And then once the front end is designed, पूरा एक एक स्क्रीन का हमने स्क्रीन का एक डिजाइन बना लिया है कि ऐसे हमारी स्क्रीन सारी की सारी स्क्रीन दिखेंगी, इस पे क्लिक किया तो ये होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा. जब हम वी आर हैप्पी विद आवर डिजाइन कि दिस इज व्हाट वी वांट द ऐप टू बी, वी गो टू बैकएंड. बैकएंड इज समथिंग दैट वी कैन नॉट चेंज. तो एक बार फ्रंट एंड को फाइनल करो, बी लाइक शार्प, बी श्योर ऑफ व्हाट यू वांट विद द ऐप, देन यू कैन मूव ऑन टू बैकएंड. एंड बैकएंड में you can use a lot of different services. You can use custom backend using Django, or using Node and Express, and or using Firebase, which is a free service from Google, which is very beginner friendly, also startup friendly also, and it gives you a lot of services like for free. Then you connect the two, front and back end ko connect karo, and you test it, and the final goal is to make scalable apps. And what I mean scalable, you don't want the app, तुमने ऐप बनाया और तुमने अपने दोस्तों को शेयर कर दिया उसका APK and anything, and उन दोस्तों के पास है. You want the apps to be ready for Google Play Store and Apple App Store, so that millions of users can already start downloading your app. And उसके लिए there cannot be any vulnerabilities in your app. There cannot be any bugs, loops, क्योंकि when you're launching an app at that scale, you just need it to be perfect. Now, I personally enjoy testing. You can test the apps on your phone also by connecting it through USB. So I enjoy it because of one simple reason: show off wherever I want to. Because मेरे डिवाइस में मेरे गूगल से, माय डिवाइस इज अ पिक्सल, सो मेरे डिवाइस में गूगल से ज़्यादा ऐप्स मेरी खुद की हैं. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, इट फील्स गुड जब कोई मेरे से पूछता है कि क्या कर रहे हो, और मैं उसको बोलता हूँ आओ बैठो मेरे साथ, अभी दिखाता हूँ सारे का सारे क्या करता हूँ मैं. Now there are two types of development. You all are familiar with Android and iOS. So I'll tell you briefly about both of them also. So first is Android. अगर Android के लिए start करना है, from you can start with Java, Kotlin. Java was the previous language for Android development, and now it's shifted to Kotlin. So this is the stack that you need for Android development. And Android के लिए you need Kotlin for to make the to connect the backend, to make the functionalities, everything. Or even if you learn Java in 11th or 12th grade, if you had computers, so Java is also the official language of Android. You need to learn XML, which is pure front end. फ्रंट एंड की स्क्रीन कैसी दिखेगी, बटन कैसा दिखेगा, उसका कलर, फॉन्ट, एवरीथिंग, ये सब कुछ डिसाइड होता है XML से. एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो इज अ सॉफ्टवेयर, यू कैन यूज अदर सॉफ्टवेयर लाइक VS Code and all. एंड लास्टली यू नीड अ डिवाइस एम्यूलेटर. लैपटॉप पे भी फोन खुल जाता है. आई डोंट थिंक जिन्होंने ज़्यादा कोडिंग नहीं करी है उनको ये पता नहीं होगा, बट यू कैन रेप्लिकेट a phone, a physical device on your laptop also, and you can test your apps on that device. Or if you want to test it on your phone, then that's also possible. Now Android के लिए apps, so I think all of the Android users, even the iOS users, have idea like what are the Android apps, and mostly all of the apps are on Android and iOS as well. So next, let's go to iOS. Uh, iOS के लिए you need the, as Kotlin is for Android, the same can be said for Swift, which is another high level language which is for our iOS development. Then for front end, there is a storyboard, which is a very unique thing in Xcode. Xcode is the alternative to Android Studio, and Xcode can only be downloaded on a Mac device. Like there are some other ways that you can, like Arijit Bhaiya will fight me on this that मैं तो अपने Windows में भी डाल के दिखा दूंगा तेरे को, but हाँ, Xcode I would prefer कि MacBook में ही चलाएं तो अच्छा है. And then you need an iPhone or a simulator, again the same thing. So here I want to like thoda sa off topic जाके I want to discuss like a lot of you will be in the process of making a decision of what laptop to buy. Like I was also deciding at some point, and all of my friends were deciding. So instead of only considering कि भाई इसमें 16 GB रैम है, इसमें 8 GB कीबोर्ड है, इसमें ये है, या फिर मैक लेते हैं यार, मैक का क्लास अलग है, all of that is well and good and I completely agree with you, but next time जब ये conversation आए, think about the domain also. I'm not saying कि सिर्फ मैक लो या फिर विंडोज लो, या just, or your domain can be anything. At the end of the session, out of the 6 domains that we're covering, your domain can be anything. Just think कि थोड़ा domain के specific भी जाओ, because मेरे को ये problem हुई थी. I was a Windows user, and when I started iOS development, I had to switch to Mac. Personally, I like Mac, but yeah, that was my case. Let's go on to the next slide. I want to show the share of market, like out of the 100% of the devices, how many are iOS, how many are Android. So iOS covers 14% of the market, Android covers 73% of the market. This will like maybe tip you in the right direction, like what market you want to cover. Some people make the choice between Android and iOS according to yeah, Android का 73% market share है, यही ले लेते हैं, best है. Some people want the iOS users को target करना चाहते हैं due to some marketing strategies, anything. But in my case, when I started app development, I wanted to implement augmented reality in my app. So at that time, Google Android में उसका support was very low. So I had to use iOS at that time. But yeah, depending upon which kind of app you want to build, there can be some changes, but this will show you. Now, what if I told you an interesting fact that you can create for Android and iOS both at the same time? So 73% and 14%, so 87% of the market you can cover easily. So you might say बोलोगे कि भैया क्यों इतना टाइम वेस्ट किया, सीधा यही बोलते हैं, तब से लगा रखा है, ये पता नहीं क्या बोला ही जा रहे. But well, there is a way, and it's called cross-platform development, which has picked up in the last 3 years. So let's move on to what is cross-platform development. Cross-platform development is when you make front end and functionality, basically everything, using only one language. There are many frameworks for this. Flutter is one example that I'm going to cover, but there are other also like React Native and Xamarin. But I prefer, just my personal opinion, I prefer Flutter because it is backed by Google. And here we have Karthik here also, who prefers React Native because it is backed by, not because, but he just is comfortable with React Native, which is backed by Facebook. So you can choose between the two, but both are cross-platform development frameworks, which you can use to make apps for both Android and iOS at the same time, using only one programming language, which is known as Dart. So this is very convenient. You might say कि ये तो बवाल चीज है, दोनों पर apps बनाओ, पैसा छापो. Well, not gonna lie, it's pretty amazing, but it has many pros and cons. Let us discuss a few. So in cross-platform development, what we know is it's very quick because दोनों की apps साइड बाय साइड बन रही है, एक ही कोड में बन रही है, जो तुम ऐप बना रहे हो वो iOS पे भी रन होगी और Android पे भी रन होगी. So it's very quick. It's easy to learn. Dart, I would say, is one of the most easy languages to learn. So it's beginner friendly. Abhi you've just entered college, so hackathons you might not know what is hackathons. You might know what a hackathons is. Basically, you get a time frame of around 1 day, 2 days, and you have to solve a problem statement by making an app or a website or anything. So I would say if you want to like build apps, you cross-platform development using Flutter, in my experience, is very beginner friendly and also very time friendly. So once you are like starting, um, yeah, hackathons, if you want to participate in the first year itself, I think Flutter is the good way to lead. Because you can start very easily, very quickly in this. It is also cheaper and single code base का फायदा तो है ही. Only one language सीखो. Flutter using Dart, Kotlin नहीं सीखना, Java नहीं सीखना, Swift नहीं सीखना, XML नहीं सीखना, nothing. But yeah, but now there are downsides to this also. जो apps if you make natively, native is Android के लिए Android, iOS के लिए iOS, they are going to be like they are going to perform relatively well. I'm not going to say that Flutter will not perform well, but native will perform better. So there is this, if speed is something that is of utmost importance, तो native के और Flutter के बीच में choice हो सकती है. Also, native apps are more scalable just because they're more like natively जो code लिखा जाता है, there are less vulnerabilities in that, so it can be made available to millions of users without with lesser vulnerabilities than cross platform development. And when I make these comparisons, I would not say कि Flutter बुरा है इन चीजों में या फिर React Native और ये cross platform बुरे हैं इन चीजों में. It's just that native is a bit better. And lastly, there is also broad functionality. Now what is broad functionality? कुछ features हैं which make कुछ like groundbreaking features that have entered the market in the last 1 or 2 years. ये पहले native में आते हैं and then they make their way around in cross-platform development. So what are those functionality, you might say? That is the AR, AI, ML in apps. So augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and machine learning that you can implement directly in your apps. So when I started development, I started because of AR only. At that time, my use case required iOS. Your use case, your idea may require something else. It may require machine learning, and basically, यही decide करेगा whether how you're going to like deep dive into the world of app development. So AR has quickly made its way to modern smartphones. You can see the example of Snapchat, Pokemon Go, a lot of apps, IKEA Store, a lot of apps are already using AR. And AI and ML on the verge of entering the market on a big scale. They've already started, but not on a big scale. So let me give you an example of some apps. You can create an app on like one I don't know man based in UK. He made an app where you can open the camera, scan the flower or any kind of plant around you, and the the app uses the machine learning model to sense what are the medicinal advantages of that uh, plant that you just scanned. So the scope of machine learning in app development is endless, and that's why I said scope of app development बहुत um, machine learning, augmented reality, AI, ML, and both in Android and iOS. It's just pretty amazing if you think about it. नाउ क्वेश्चन ये आया होगा कि अगर मैं फ्लटर से अगर मैं जावा से सीखना शुरू करूंगा, मैं कॉटलिन से सीखना शुरू करूंगा, या फिर मैं स्विफ्ट में iOS से सीखना शुरू करूंगा, या फिर मैं फ्लटर सीखना शुरू करूंगा, तो मैं बाकी सारी चीजें एक ही चॉइस ली और उसी में घुस जाना पड़ेगा मेरे को. मैं और कोई चॉइस ले ही नहीं पाऊंगा, मैं और कुछ कर ही नहीं पाऊंगा. लाइक आई डोंट वांट टू प्रेशराइज यू, so just think about it. In 2014, the Java and Swift were app development मतलब Java या Swift. 2018 में that changed when Flutter released. So अब Dart came into being. 2019 में Kotlin became the official preferred language of Google for Android development. And 2021, which is quite recently, Flutter Flow was released, which is a GUI based like app dev platform where you can drag and drop elements, और वो सिर्फ डिजाइन नहीं, वो पूरी की पूरी ऐप बना देता है. What I'm saying is, what I want to prove through this slide is the world of app development, the industry of app development is changing fairly quickly. So 2014 से 2021 में there's like in a span of 7 years a lot has changed. मैंने start किया था when Java, when Kotlin has just came into being and then Swift were being used for iOS. And मैंने जब दोनों की apps बनाई, I was thinking कि यार काश कोई तरीका होता दोनों साथ में बनाता, because it is very very tedious. And then I was stumbled upon Flutter, and then now I'm very interested in Flutter Flow also. But what I want to say is कि जरूरी नहीं है, there is no hard and fast rule कि तुमने एक स्टैक पकड़ा तो वो ही स्टैक में तुमको घुसना ही पड़ेगा और उस स्टैक के तुम चेंज नहीं कर सकते, स्विच नहीं कर सकते. No, that's not the case. The stack keeps changing. End of the day, what is app? App is the way how you solve a problem. Each app is a problem. मेरी a startup which I recently worked upon, उसका that was related to podcasts. Uska problem statement was entirely different from what I had done before. I had worked in e-commerce, augmented reality. So podcast ke liye you need a good control over audio and like controlling the audio. So merely the feature that was like a task for me was that मेरे को ऑडियो चलानी थी जो ऑडियो लॉक स्क्रीन से कंट्रोल हो जाए, ऑडियो बैकग्राउंड में भी चले, ऐप को बंद कर दिया तो भी चले. एंड सो like this is just a small example, but basically once you get the hang of solving a problem, it doesn't matter कि तुम किस पे कर रहे हो. Any stack that you can learn in um, around 4 to 5 months of genuine dedication. But it's the end of the day, it's how you tackle the problem, how you approach a problem, and in the end you're going to solve that problem. So इसके आगे बोलना, I don't think so. नहीं. Number चाहिए to ask any doubts? नहीं. I don't care फिर भी लो. So that's it for my side. Any